Let me ask you something. When's the last time you took a deep breath? Not just a breath to survive, but one that actually reached your soul. For so many of us, life feels like a constant fight against the clock. You wake up already behind. You carry invisible weights that no one sees. You smile for the world, but inside you're drowning. It's like you're trying to decide what their drug is, right? And here's the truth that no one tells you. Stress isn't just killing your joy, it's stealing your life. But what if I told you that most of your stress isn't coming from the outside world? It's coming from what you're still holding on to. Today, I'm not here to give you a quick fix or a to-do list. I'm here to tell you the truth. If you want to stop drowning in stress, you don't need to do more. You need to let go. Which let go of the lies. Let go of the noise. Let go of everything not yours to carry. Because freedom isn't found in control. It's found in surrender. And by the end of this talk, you're going to remember how to breathe again. You know what's wild? We spend so much of our lives trying to control things that were never ours to control in the first place. You're overwhelmed, exhausted, and buried under this invisible pressure. And most of it's not even coming from your actual circumstances. It's coming from the fight you're having in your head every single day. We try to control people, their opinions, their actions, their reactions. You say the right thing. You play the perfect role. You do everything you're supposed to just to avoid discomfort, to keep the peace, to feel safe. But guess what? You still end up stressed. You still end up misunderstood, criticized, or disappointed. Because no matter how tight your grip, people will do what they're going to do. We try to control the future. We run every scenario, analyze every detail, rehearse conversations that haven't even happened yet. Why? Because we think if we can just anticipate every possible outcome, we'll finally feel secure. But security doesn't come from control. It comes from confidence. And confidence doesn't come from knowing what's going to happen. It comes from knowing who the hell you are when it does. We even try to control the past. You replay moments, beat yourself up, obsess over what you should have said or done. You carry shame like a backpack filled with bricks. But the past isn't something you can fix. It's something you have to forgive. You're drowning in stress because you're wrestling with ghosts. Control is a beautiful illusion. It feels safe. It feels strong, but it's costing you your peace, your presence, your power. The more you try to control what's outside of you, the more you lose control of what's inside of you. So what do? You let go. Not in a weak, give up kind of way, but in a bold, conscious, powerful choice. You stop wasting energy on things that don't belong in your hands. You take all that scattered focus and bring it home, back to your breath, your body, your truth, your next step. You start asking, what's actually in my control right now? My attitude, my response, my intention, my energy. That's where your freedom lives. That's where your stress dies. Because the moment you surrender what you can't control is the moment you take back control of what truly matters. Let go of control, and you'll finally remember what it feels like to breathe. Stress isn't just about what's happening in your life. It's about the story you're telling yourself about how life should be. And that story, those expectations you built up in your mind, they're heavy. They're loud. They're the silent rulers of your emotions. You expected to be further by now. You thought you'd be married or rich or successful or healed or finally at peace. You had a picture in your head, a vision of how life was supposed to unfold. And every time reality doesn't match that picture, stress creeps in. You don't just feel disappointed. You feel like something is wrong, like you're behind, like you failed. But let me tell you something powerful. Expectations aren't always truth. Most of the time, they're inherited beliefs from your parents, your culture, your past, the media. You've been programmed to think, if I do this, I'll be happy. If I get that, I'll be enough. And when it doesn't go that way, you suffer. Not because of what happened, but because of what you thought should happen. It's like chasing a moving target. Every time you get close, the bar moves. You thought losing the weight would make you confident. You thought getting the job would make you secure. You thought being in a relationship would make you feel loved. But if those outcomes don't line up perfectly with your expectations, you feel anxious, frustrated, even ashamed. So what's the solution? You don't stop dreaming. You don't stop striving, but you do let go of the need for life to go exactly according to your script. You trade in your rigid expectations for something far more powerful, standards. See, expectations are about what you think the world owes you. Standards are about what you hold yourself to, how you show up, how you respond, how you lead. That's where your real power is, because you can't always control the outcome, but you can always control the energy you bring to it. And here's the truth most people don't want to face. Peace doesn't come from things going your way. Peace comes from the ability to remain steady even when they don't. That's real strength. That's real freedom. The moment you let go of needing things to be perfect, the moment you stop demanding that life meet all your conditions before you let yourself be happy, that's when the pressure lifts. That's when you create space for joy, for possibility, for growth. Stop waiting for life to match your expectations before you exhale. Just exhale now. You ever notice how the world rewards the busy, the go-getters, the ones who put everyone else first? There's this invisible badge of honor for those who sacrifice their own well-being for others. And somewhere along the way, you bought into that story. You started to believe that if you didn't keep running, keep giving, keep fixing, you weren't enough. But here's the thing. You can't pour from an empty cup. You keep trying to fill everyone else's glass while neglecting your own, and sooner or later, you run dry. That exhaustion you feel, that constant tension in your shoulders, the restless nights, the fog in your mind, that's not just life being hard. It's your body and soul screaming for care. You're so busy being everything for everyone that you forgot to be something for yourself, present, alive, whole. Self-care isn't selfish, it's survival. It's the foundation of everything else. If you don't put yourself first, you won't have the energy, the clarity, the strength to show up fully for anyone else. You might think you're helping by pushing through, but really you're just digging a deeper hole of stress and burnout. It's time to change the story you tell yourself about what it means to take care of yourself. It's not indulgence. It's not weakness. It's not something to feel guilty about. It's essential. When you nurture your mind, your body, your spirit, you recharge your entire system. You create a reservoir of calm and resilience. And when stress hits, you're not drowning, you're floating. So how do you do it? It starts with permission. Permission to say no without explaining. Permission to take breaks without shame. Permission to put your needs on the calendar like they matter, as much as any meeting, any deadline, any obligation. Because here's the truth. Your well-being is your greatest asset. Protect it fiercely. And don't wait for a crisis to remind you. Self-care is not a reward for surviving the storm. It's the umbrella you carry before the rain comes. It's the daily commitment to yourself that says, I am worthy of peace. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of rest. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the belief that your worth is tied to how much you do for others. When you put yourself first, you're not being selfish. You're being smart. You're creating a life where stress doesn't control you, but you control. Make yourself a priority. Your peace depends on it. We live in a world that glorifies busyness. It's like being busy became the new measure of success, the badge we wear to prove we're important, valuable, worthy. But here's the thing. Being busy is not the same as being fulfilled. You can fill your days with endless tasks, meetings, distractions, and still feel empty, drained, and overwhelmed. That constant motion might look productive on the outside, but inside, it's chaos disguised as activity. When you're constantly moving without purpose, stress builds up because you're disconnected from what really matters. You're running on autopilot, reacting to whatever demands your attention next, rather than moving with intention toward what truly lights you up. That disconnect creates a tension inside, silent scream that gets drowned out by the noise of shoulds and have-tos. This autopilot life steals your power because you're not living your own story. You're living someone else's script. You're doing what's expected, chasing what's urgent, but losing sight of what's important. And the result? Burnout, frustration, and a gnawing sense that something's missing. What if you paused for a moment and asked yourself, am I moving toward what truly matters to me? Am I investing my time and energy in what fuels my soul or just what fills my schedule? Stress starts to fade the moment you shift from motion to meaning. When you align your actions with your values, your purpose, your passions, suddenly every step you take has weight and the noise turns into a rhythm, a powerful beat that carries you forward. It's not about doing less. It's about doing what matters more. It's about clearing the clutter, the distractions, the meaningless busyness, and creating space for what brings joy, growth, and fulfillment. When you do that, stress doesn't stand a chance because you're no longer fighting against the tide, you're surfing the wave. That means setting boundaries, saying no to what drains you so you can say yes to what energizes you. That means focusing on your big rocks first, the few things that create the greatest impact in your life and work. That means being mindful about how you spend your time, making conscious choices rather than getting swept away by the currents of obligation. It also means reconnecting with yourself, listening to your intuition, honoring your needs, and tuning into what your heart really wants. Because when you live in alignment, stress loses its grip. You find a deep sense of peace, purpose, and power. Stop confusing busyness with progress. When you stop moving just to move and start moving with meaning, your stress begins to dissolve. You were made for more than just motion. You were made for momentum that matters. There's a powerful truth most people don't want to admit. When you're constantly trying to be the hero, the fixer, the person everyone depends on, you're actually stealing your own peace. You might think that being needed, being indispensable is a sign of your worth. That if you're the one who always steps up, always carries the load, always saves the day, then you're valuable. But what if I told you that this addiction to being needed is exactly what's drowning you in stress? When your identity is wrapped up in fixing other people's problems, you lose sight of your own well-being. You feel responsible for things that aren't yours to carry, and that responsibility weighs heavy. You sacrifice your boundaries, your energy, your happiness, because you believe that if you don't keep giving, you won't be loved or respected. It's a trap and it's exhausting. The problem is you can't actually save anyone else if you're running on empty. When you're stretched too thin, your ability to show up fully for others disappears. You become reactive, resentful, and disconnected. And yet you keep pushing because the thought of stepping back feels like failure or abandonment. But here's the game changer. You are worthy exactly as you are, not because of what you do for others, but because of who you are inside. Your value doesn't come from your usefulness or your sacrifices. It comes from your essence, your heart, your soul, your presence. You don't have to earn love by being a hero. You are already deserving of it. Letting go of the need to be needed doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring smarter. It means you set boundaries that protect your energy and honor your limits. It means you realize that true connection comes from authenticity, not obligation. When you stop trying to carry the world on your shoulders, you free yourself to live more fully. You give yourself permission to say no without guilt. You reclaim the space to nurture your own dreams, your own peace, your own happiness. And ironically, in doing that, you become even more powerful and present for the people who truly matter. Stress is the byproduct of carrying burdens that aren't yours. When you let go of the addiction to being everyone's savior, you take the first step toward reclaiming your peace. You don't have to save the world. You just have to show up as your best self. Stress is often described as the tension between what is and what should be, but more precisely, it's the tension between now and when. Most of the time, your mind is not in this moment. It's either stuck replaying the past or it's rushing ahead to some imagined future. You're mentally traveling through time, but your body is trapped here, carrying the weight of all those moments that aren't real right now. Think about how much energy you spend reliving old mistakes, regrets, things you wish you could change. You play the tape over and over, beating yourself up, wishing you had done it differently. Or maybe your mind is fixated on what might happen tomorrow, next week, next year, worst case scenarios, what ifs, fears that have no guarantee of ever coming true. This mental time traveling keeps you trapped, stealing your peace and flooding your system with stress chemicals. But the present moment, the here and now, is where your power lives. This moment is the only place where life happens, where choices are made, where peace can be found. When you resist the present, when you live outside of it, you give stress permission to take over. You're fighting a battle you can't win because the past is gone and the future hasn't arrived. Presence isn't just a nice idea, it's a survival skill. When you learn to anchor yourself in the now, you begin to break free from the endless loop of worry and regret. You start to see clearly what you can do in this moment. You stop being overwhelmed by everything outside your control and instead focus on what you can influence right now. And this doesn't mean ignoring the past or neglecting the future. It means acknowledging them without letting them control you. You carry your history, but you don't let it define you. You plan for your future, but you don't let fear of it paralyze you. Presence invites you to breathe deeply, to notice the sensations in your body, to slow down your racing thoughts. It opens a space where clarity, calm, and creativity emerge. When you practice being present, stress loses its grip because it thrives on distraction and chaos, not on focused awareness. Letting go of resistance to the present moment means surrendering to what is. It means accepting the current reality, even if it's uncomfortable, and choosing to respond with wisdom and grace rather than reaction and panic. You reclaim your peace by stopping the mental time travel and coming home to yourself. You don't have to live in the past or the future. You can live fully in the now. When you do, stress fades and peace takes its place.